A string of deadly shootings rocking Seattle, and now, oh look, its mayor is calling for more police officers. The move just 1 year after the department's budget was cut by nearly 20% by the city council. Fox's Dan Springer has a story. Dan.
Yeah, hey, Brian. Now, you may remember this last year after her East Precinct was abandoned by Seattle police and the area taken over by protesters. Mayor Jenny Durkin joked on CNN about being a summer of love. Well, the reality has been just the opposite. The 5 murders over the weekend have Seattle on a pace to exceed last year's total, which at the time was a 26-year high. Drive-by shootings have doubled, and the number of people shot citywide is up 61%. Now, after the city cut its police department by 18%, Mayor Durkin says it's time to hire more cops.
It is a false choice between community-led solutions and police officers. We need both.
The frequent protests that were often declared riots and the lack of support from City Hall led to mass resignations from the police department, including the police chief. The interim chief says he's lost 250 officers in the last 17 months. Now, the head of the Police Officers Guild says the number is actually 300. Mike Solon blames the rise in deadly violence and the severe cop shortage on the politicians who say they defunded the police movement.
Our city is in complete lawlessness in terms of the crime explosion, and our community is suffering because of the feckless politicians.
And Seattle is trying to recruit officers, but it's not going well. One of the leading candidates to replace Mayor Durkin, who is not seeking re-election, is the council president who once pledged to cut the police department by 50%. Brian?
Dan Springer in Seattle. Thank you, sir. Well, here now for reaction, Chris Bedford, the Federalist Senior Editor. Chris, my, how the tune has changed here, but it's one thing to say you want to hire more police officers. It's quite another to create the culture where those police officers actually want to go to work. Your thoughts on this?
Why would you ever join the Seattle Police Force? Talking to police officers from the West Coast all the way out to Cape Cod and the East Coast, I've heard the same thing, which is I cannot wait to retire, and I wouldn't tell my son or daughter to follow me into my profession that I loved and dedicated my life to. In Seattle, talking to police officers who I know, they're having to hide because of politics, growing leprosy amongst the homeless, the criminally insane who are living under bridges who are dominating that city right now. They're approaching 200 different projectile attacks on vehicles driving underneath on the highway, just from homeless camps and the crazy people who are allowed to roam free. The solution to this is to hand out clean syringes, hand out free drugs to the homeless, and allow them to steal. Everyone I know who's lived in that beautiful city has left because it's not even recognizable, and those who live outside of it feel unsafe going downtown. We know exactly why this is happening. It's because they've allowed the insane to take over the city, handed out drugs to them, stopped punishing crime, and they've undermined their police officers and allowed for these no-go zones. It's complete insanity, and it was obviously coming to this.
More insanity. Let's stay on the West Coast. California's shoplifting crisis. This video out of Calabasas showing thieves filling bags with tons of products inside an Ulta beauty store. Critics are blaming a 2014 proposition that lowers criminal sentences for nonviolent crimes like shoplifting. Chris, it's a consequences story. If there are no consequences for things like this, I was saying on air last night, I was at my Target getting dinner the other night, and there were guys just eating their dinner in the aisles. I mean, they weren't buying the stuff. They were just opening packages and eating like it was a lounge or something. No consequences for this. This is exactly what you're going to get, Chris.
And when they say that they're not going to bring any charges or try to arrest people who are stealing less than $100 or $200 or $300 worth of stuff, try spending that much money at an average convenience store. Just try to. It's difficult. But it basically means that stealing from people and robbery is completely okay. Because of this, you see different chain stores shutting down early. in California and even leaving areas. And the problem with that is when you've got vacant stores, that's not just, oh, I can't get my shaving cream there or I can't get my electronics there anymore. That's an empty storefront. It leads to urban blight, leads to more crime. We're repeating the 60s and 70s right before our eyes, and we're doing it intentionally.
And when these stores cut their hours, it also means fewer hours for people in those communities to work. It hurts jobs. It hurts that economy. There are knock-on effects here that these places seem to be ignoring. I want to get your take on this as well. Running against a movement, New York City Democratic mayoral candidate Eric Adams declares his opposition to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's socialist agenda. Watch.
I'm no longer running against candidates. I'm running against a movement. All across the country, the DSA socialists are mobilizing to stop Eric Adams. They realize that if I'm successful, we're going to start the process of regaining control of our cities.
All right, Chris, this is interesting. So there's a lot of people out there who are intrigued by what Eric Adams is saying. He's saying he's running basically against the energy of his own party. That's interesting. But do you think he's the kind of politician who can actually deliver on some of these things that he's saying right now?
Well, he's always had a reputation, even within the police department, amongst his fellow officers, for being a politician, that type, as opposed to a cop's cop. At the end of the day, he did run in this primary and win it as a police officer, former police officer career, and on a law and order ticket, running against this kind of craziness in New York City, which is the East Coast capital of progressivism. This is better than any kind of internal polling the Democratic Party could have possibly done. Just 10 or 20 years ago, law and order were not Republican or conservative ideas. They were basic Western civilized ideas, global civilized ideas, and they've abandoned that. And when you see shots going off in D.C. at places like Nationals Park, that starts to catch the attention of some of the wealthier people, the national people. But the reality is, in the bad areas and some of the poorer areas in New York City and some of the black and brown areas, this crime has become a daily part of their lives. It's not just a shock and awe thing. It's every single day, and they're afraid and they're angry about it, and they want more police on their streets.
It's become the fabric of life in so many of these places, and it is more than just public safety, as we've talked about. But I do think the question is, will you get political leaders who can actually play in that center space and get to the bread and butter issues and not just the ideology that seems to want to pull everybody apart? Chris, really appreciate your thoughts on all this today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.